this week is a week that I want to handle everything that bothers me, or things that just need to be dealt with. Um, Number one, yesterday I got a surgery in my eye because I had to remove liquid that's in my eye because I'm diabetic. You can diabetes shame me if you want, but other diabetics can relate. You get these things that are called floaters in your eye, and I got gel. Everyone does in their eye. It makes the blood stay there, so they had to take the gel out. And I kind of stopped. Um, like I didn't want to start to do this bosses take losses again until I got my new teeth, but it was so complicated. But we're finally dealing with it, and I just feel like there's some things I need to say today. And usually, the last interview I did with the bandana, but I can only justify dressing like a cowboy when I'm on my ranch or the family ranch, and we're not there right now. But I have things that I want to say, and I think I want to talk clearly. So I'm not going to sit here and grit my teeth all day. Fuck all that, and I don't care. Get your jokes, but know that right now I'm in my dentist office, and tomorrow I'm getting a surgery, and hopefully by the time y'all see this, I'll have some new teeth. But these are like my dentist. I had some grills, and until I could get things sorted out. He made them. Alligator Jesus made them, but they don't hold nothing because all these implants broke in my mouth, which has nothing to do with age or it's never happened before. No one knows of 5 implants breaking. But I do have some things that I want to say. Very surprised. This isn't the Cam that I know or cosign. Like, number one, talking about another man's pockets, I just felt like him and I would have conversations about that's just not the most masculine thing to do. Talking about other people, especially when they're not in the room, to me is coward shit. For me, if you have something to say to someone that you respect and that you don't go on a television show and speak on it. You give them the respect of calling them. And, I would challenge you to ask your co-host Mace or the girl that is with you if they think that the right approach is to talk about people that you respect that have helped you in public because they said something that you don't like, rather than call them. And I don't respect, because anyone can sound articulate and tough or confident when no one's there to challenge them. All right. I just wish that we could have a conversation so that the things that you're saying so confidently, I could give you the right advice about your perspective on them. But there's no point for talking about people that aren't in the room if you can talk to them. And what I notice is when you do have people on your show, you're very nice to them, And I don't think it's a problem being nice, but I do think there's times that they should be challenged. Like I would never think that the Cam I knew would use his platform to sit with his old ops and talk about his brothers. So my advice, Cam, is again, this is something that I've lived by. If someone had a problem with you, generally speaking, unless I could squash it, then they had a problem with me. So if someone is disrespecting you and I have them on my show, respectfully, I'm going to ask them about it. But I'm not going to sit with someone that I know is disrespecting my friends and be ha-ha and he-heing with them. I just wouldn't advise that. Also, this thing I saw, because you brought it up, about you talking to Memphis Bleek on your platform about the presidency of Rockefeller. Number one, it was the vice presidency that we spoke about. But all we did was have a conversation between someone that I respected to be able to have a real conversation with. Until I got to talk to the rest of my crew about it, it's just called talking ideas. And where I'm from, it's not thorough to have a really private conversation and go to the radio and tell everybody before everyone else knows. Now, I just thought you were young, and I didn't even let you know, but I think you know how many problems that mistake you made caused. But you never said nothing to correct it. And now you're saying something about the presidency, which is not true. Sitting with people that you used to disrespect daily, at least that's what I used to see, laughing about the fact that you misspoke, not caring about how much damage that caused to Rockefeller. And that Miss Bleak told you that started everything. And it's all because of a conversation we had that you went and made public. That's not some Harlem shit. That's some young shit. But now that you're about 50 years old, just laughing about it, thinking that that's funny, without caring about the recourse of this mistake you made, my advice is I don't think that's the way to approach it. And if you do have someone like Bleak, you should ask them why they were so mad. And I think you should have explained to them that, number one, you weren't going to be doing shit at Rockefeller. You were going to be running Dipset. Nothing to do with Rockefeller. And Beanie was going to be running State Property. But that was just a conversation I had it with Beans. But y'all never talked. So now that I'm seeing how you're laughing at it, I'm wondering if you did it on purpose. Because it doesn't seem as if there was good intention. There's no remorse for it. I don't appreciate that. So that would be a conversation I'd have with you, like, bruh, you actually went up there and talked about a personal conversation before I told anyone else and got to talk to them. So let's say Jay or Big disagreed with it or it was too much friction, it wouldn't have happened. But that's not the reason why it didn't happen. The reason why it didn't happen was because after you got off the radio, from what I remember, you had your lawyer send me something saying I was going to have to pay you $750,000 to do it. And I just said, forget it. Maybe I'm wrong. And then you attacked my art. So I have to address it. You gave an opinion on my art. I'm going to give an opinion on yours. Since Rockefeller, I haven't seen you make a hit record yet. And to the extent that you're no longer, rapping. So I always wondered about that. I'd be like, I don't understand why you're not putting out these records like you used to. But, at the time, I don't think you weren't coming around because I think that thing had happened in front of my cousin where, homeboy punched you in your face and you never had that conversation with me. I had to hear about it through my cousin because you're very non-confrontational. I believe that Sen, who's next to you, P-Hef, everyone, all your friends, and we all know that you've always been very sensitive and that you are very overreactive. So it's hard to tell you the hard truth. But the truth, Cam, is I just feel like, you've been overreacting. And I don't think your justification for the things you're saying to the people that you love or that did so much with you, I don't think that, I don't think it's justified. And again, back to the art. The reason why you're saying you didn't promote Honor Up is because I don't know. For the clip I saw, you were saying because I threw you in a scene or you came to visit. We spoke about Honor Up. You did come in the scene, pause. But we also did a lot, you showed up 3 or 4 times and do a lot of other scenes, which you did. And at the time, you were telling me that you wanted to make sure that Juju was expanding her brand. So I thought I was doing you a favor. And I don't remember any of this, just get in and freestyle and all that. Maybe it might have happened one day, but again, when would I ever come to a video set of yours and not jump in the video? But I don't remember it quite being that way. What I do remember is you did show up a couple of times. You were late every time, which fucked up my schedule, so I had to freestyle a lot. But, I still was appreciative. But I put up $1 million. So to put that in perspective, I've heard you talk about you put up $200,000 for your show. I put up $1 million. And now you're going to say the shit was whack. But number one, again, I haven't seen you make a hit record since Rockefeller, to the extent that you're doing a different profession. So I'd like to see you make a hit record, because this is what I imagined you at this time, not just performing your old versions of your records. But also, I haven't seen you in a hit movie or TV show or anything other than interviewing people since Paid in Full. So you're a person that makes movies a lot, but no one hears about them because they're terrible. But I would still promote them. So what I'll do is the same thing I did with 50. Let's go movie for movie. You show your movies, I'll show mine. Show the one where you're being a drama actor, all those things you tried. And let's show Honor Up. And you show me one movie that you have, that you've done on your own, that's better than any movie or done better than Honor Up. Let's just stay there. I might even do Paid in Full. But also, tell me a movie that you've been in that has been better than Honor Up as well. Tell me some other movie, another movie, where they said you were a good actor. So you haven't made a hit record without the last hit record. Besides, it was made a hit record with you, and I made a hit record with you. But you never made a hit record on your own. But I'm not knocking it. But I don't know how you're going to judge my art. I just think that that's, just because you have a platform, it doesn't mean now you start judging the people that have helped you. So now we have to talk about that. And now I'd like to, do that. The Dipset clothes that you wear, I started the Dipset clothing line. We were supposed to be partners in that. But you went around and did it without me after we started. I mean, you remember we did the jerseys and I did the activations at Poppington Gallery? And do you remember me getting people to make and manufacture? And you haven't even sent me a sweatshirt. But I did start the clothing, but we could go clothing line for clothing line as well. And then, so we're going to go album for album. And now, you have a show on Revolt, but I'm confused because I spoke to you because you guys called me to buy The Reasonable Doubt or the Rockefeller 8 and offered me the 1 point, like just enough where I wouldn't make any money, but y'all just wanted to fuck with Jay-Z. And I said, I'll do it because you guys could go. I don't really want to have any parts of it, but you need a plan so we can make some money. I want to edit it. I had $7 million on the table that I never closed. And like I said, Drake DM'd me because it could have been fake, but he said he wanted to buy it for $7 million as well. But I was like, just pass the plugs. Pause. Like, if you guys are in a position where you have ads or someone's paying you sponsorship, like, pass it. Oh, I can't do that because of Mace. You blamed it on Mace. You said Mace wouldn't look out. Like, you couldn't do nothing because Mace. That you had to do your own thing because of Mace. But, it's funny because Mace is the only one that called me and said, yo, I don't like that shit they do to you. Let me give you a shout out because no one else will. So now I don't even know if it was Mace. But I didn't like that you even threw the man under the bus. It seems like you haven't been the same since, well, let's do this. let's go back to the TV show. When I first was speaking to you about your shows, I said, yo, I got a plug on BET. And also, I'm trying to buy Revolt. I don't want to work for Revolt. And you said, I don't want anything to do with Revolt. And now I see that you're the CEO for the day. And, you know, I'm just wondering why anything that I involve, like, why would you always, why is it that you tell me one thing and do another? And something like that, you wouldn't call me about any advice. But, I know, again, everyone, I mean, I'm not going to get into Revolt's business, but I don't understand the move. I wanted to own Revolt. I would acquire it, not work for it. But that's where we see things different. So, again, if you do have a platform, and the way I see things is, I'm watching you go to work every day and wear a tie every day. It's hard work, and I'm proud of that. I just wish that you would have done that as an artist. And I know it must be for a lot of money. If you have to get up and talk every day, regardless to whether you want to or not, and change your clothes every day, even though you may own it, it still feels like a job. I do believe I could make a lot of money just talking about people. But I do notice that, number one, I have been doing podcasts for free since around 2005 with Kenyatta. And I wasn't monetizing it. I just wanted to give information. I don't talk about people. I try to teach people. So what I'm seeing you're doing on your platform is just tearing down other Black men. I'm seeing you sit with your ops and talk about your brothers. OGs. That's not what I would advise you to use your platform. Teach when you're on your platform. Don't tear people down. You know what I mean? Make them better. If you're going to make money off it, make it good money. So again, this is the advice I would give you if I could talk to you, but I'm just noticing that every person that you have a problem with is Black. And you talk about them when they're not in the room, and that's just not Harlem shit. You supposed to step to somebody and challenge them in their face, pause. It's like, if I smack somebody, I gotta see if they're gonna smack back, punch back, whatever comes with it. But like, if I'm in another room and I smack the camera, that's not tough. And I just feel like, I think because you have this platform and this sensitive temperament, that everyone now you're just going crazy on people. So like, I watched the thing, I saw the thing with all I heard him say was, you would have done better at the battle if you would have performed the records that he made with you. I didn't think that was a reason to tell that man's business like that. That was an overreaction. That's not cool to loan someone that helped you at some point some money, and because he doesn't have the same opinion of you, you start telling his personal business. You think because you loan somebody some money, they're not supposed to have an opinion? Does that mean that everybody that's around you, it can't tell you how they really feel if you're paying them? Because that's what it looks like. Niggas can't even joke with you no more. When did you get like this? That's not no Harlem shit. I just don't understand what happens. But what I do know is that, for some reason, people justify, like, oh, I'm a journalist now, so I can interview male strippers and I could, be in other people's business. We didn't respect journalists that did that. That's a choice to be a journalist, but you're not a civilian. Think about all the people that used to talk about us in journalism and do corny shit that we used to laugh at. You know, no disrespect, but we never respected Elliot because he's not in music. Because he was talking about people. Just because you're a journalist doesn't mean you have that you can do things that you might find corny or immoral. But these are funny things.